Hello and welcome, and it's the PHNX Cardinals halftime show, your premier Arizona Cardinal podcast, live from Gila River Resorts and Casinos at Wild Horse Pass. I'm Johnny Venerable, the playmaker. We need some plays today. Former Arizona Cardinal wide receiver Brittan Golden, PHNX Cardinals beat reporter Craig Morgan, Damon Dog, producer extraordinaire behind the mic. The Arizona Cardinals lead by slimmest of margins, 9-6 in a field goal fest at Minnesota. Craig Morgan, we thought coming into this game, the defense was poised to play well. Seems pretty obvious right now they're going to have to carry this team to victory.
Yeah, they've dialed it up. And something we were talking about on the pregame show, they needed to pressure Sam Darnold. They have been doing that. They've been successful. He's been under duress this entire game, and that is keeping the Cardinals in this right now.
You know, Brittan Golden, we knew the offense was stuck at neutral last week. We thought it would show some life. They're better today. They haven't allowed a sack. But man, oh man, they are having the toughest time in the red zone. 4 red zone possessions, just 9 points. Is that a recipe for success today?
It's not. You're going to have to score touchdowns if you want to win this football game today. Now, offensively, like you said, it's been much better up front and playmaker-wise to start this game in the first half. But you've got to start being able to convert touchdowns instead of field goals, and that starts with these pre-snap penalties and these holding penalties. You're putting yourself behind the sticks to start drives, and you're in 1st and 20s, you're in 2nd and longs, you're in 3rd and longs. You've got to find a way to get forward. We got to start in front of the sticks. First down, you need positive plays. Second down, positive plays. We can't keep going behind the sticks, or you're going to continue to kick field goals.
This defense has done everything and more. They have allowed 1 touchdown. Let me repeat this. They have allowed 1 touchdown in their last, count it, 14 quarters of play and counting. Let me do my math. 4, 8, 12, 14. So they allowed a touchdown against the Seahawks, none at home in the prior 2 games, none today. The Nick Rallis-led unit holding Sam Darnold to a pedestrian 8 of 9, 67 yards. Defensively, 32 yards on the ground allowed, forced a fumble. Cardinals were not able to take advantage. I mean, there's something clear going on right now after the end of that first half. When you watch Kyler Murray play for the field goal, when you've watched him play for field goals, the Cardinals and Nick Rallis and Jonathan Gannon, Craig, they must feel like they have an advantage, enough so to default to field goals. Am I wrong?
No, and you look at what they're doing offensively, and you like a lot of what they're doing offensively between the 20s, right? They got to convert. It's just as simple as converting. This game, to me, the story of the first half is missed opportunities, right? Aaron Jones put the ball on the ground twice. First time, you didn't recover it. Second time, you missed a field goal. So you came away with nothing off those 2 opportunities. Britt mentioned the penalty. They're just not executing when they're in the red zone, the crunch zone.
You know, the Vikings are going to make adjustments. They're going to come out and attack this defense. They get the ball to start the second half. I mean, is it realistic to think you can win this game without a touchdown? I don't think so. I think Minnesota, they're going to leave it all in the field. They've got opportunities now to go for it on 4th down, and they know right now that their defense can stop you. And if you're Jonathan Gannon and Nick Rallis, it's like you almost have to pitch a perfect game right now.
Well, you can't even say that the Vikings have stopped the Cardinals today. The Cardinals have stopped the Cardinals with the pre-snap penalties and the negative plays. Like, you've stopped yourself. You put yourself in bad situations. Outside of that, like Craig mentioned, between the 20s, you're moving the ball successfully.
Yeah.
You're completing passes. You're running the ball decently successful. Kyler Murray's getting out of the pocket and creating plays with his legs. You're doing what you're supposed to do between the 20s. You are not converting, as Craig said, in the red zone. And you are not going to win this football game without a touchdown, because you better expect Minnesota's going to come out in the second half. They're going to try to get Justin Jefferson involved early.
They're
going to try to get Addison involved early. They're going to throw that ball. They're going to try to get the ball out of Sam Darnold's hands quicker. So expect quick passes. Expect getting the ball in Jefferson's hands really quick and letting him make a play outside of that.
Just a point, and Bo said this when we had him on in the pregame show, and you know, the beat writer that I talked to said it as well. That's kind of how this defense plays too. They will give up chunk plays between the 20s, but they stiffen in the red zone. So you have to You have to think about your game plan in the red zone. You maybe have to alter some things that you're doing there to make sure that you're converting.
Kyler Murray, no touchdowns in the first half, 19 of 25, 149 yards. He does have 37 yards rushing. I don't think it's hyperbole to say, like, this is the biggest half of play for Kyler Murray in, like, 2 years. You have an opportunity. You win this game. You take firm control of the NFC West. You've got the Seahawks that are currently down by 5, losing on the road to the Jets. They come into your building next week. This is a Kyler Murray legacy game. This is a Kyler Murray game, just like Miami, right? Just like some of the earlier games in San Francisco. You have to come out and be undeniable against Sam Darnold, who looks pedestrian today. Your defense, for the longest time, myself, everybody who's in the corner of Kyler Murray, he can't do it on his own, right? Can't win games by himself. He can't play defense. Your defense is exceptional. 1 touchdown allowed in 14 quarters. Cardinals have scored 1 touchdown in the last 7 quarters, according to our guy, Bo Brock. Like Brittan Golden, I know that they're preaching, don't turn the ball over, no mistakes, but man, oh man, at some point, you just got to let it rip downfield. You have to let Kyler Murray make plays, and he's got to make them to win this game.
Oh, and he has so far in this first half, right? Outside of not scoring a touchdown, when we've seen him throw the football today, he's been accurate. He's been on point. Guys, I mean, outside of the wild tip ball, right, that's not his problem. That's just a heck of a play defensively. But you need to see the exact same type of play Kyler Murray in the second half.
Yeah.
Finding a way to push the ball downfield. We're not just throwing checkdowns all day. We've thrown that ball. We've thrown the ball downfield 15 to 20 yards a couple times so far. Right? Would you like to see it further? Would you like to see it more? Yes. But he's making good decisions. When the pocket collapses, he gets out of the pocket. He's trying to look for something downfield before he just takes off, and then he's getting stuff with his legs. I want to see the same thing first half, second half. You just have to convert touchdowns now in the second half.
We saw a catch from Marvin Harrison Jr., Craig, at the end of the half, but it looked out of sync again. Marvin not finishing his routes. There's no cohesiveness. Like, what do you do? Are you tempted to go back to number 18, or do you feel like right now the rapport's not there?
Well, I mean, you certainly feel the rapport's not there right now, but maybe it's fixable at halftime. You have a conversation with him and say, look, you got to come back to the ball on that one. You ran the wrong route on the other one. The miscommunication has absolutely been there right after Jonathan talked in the pregame about trying to get the ball to Marv. I don't think you can go away from a playmaker like that. You need him. You're going to need him in the second half. We talked about this. That's the recipe you need to dial out.
Absolutely. Baby. There are opportunities to be made. As you mentioned, Kyler Murray and company, this offense has to take advantage. We took advantage of a tremendous menu here today, live at Gila River Resorts and Casinos at Wild Horse Pass. Damon Dog, let's get to those super chats, my guy. While he's getting those, drop a like button for a Cardinal dub. They're 2 quarters away from getting a huge win. Damon Dog, what do we got?
Nightingale Sunset, $2, says 7 straight quarters without a touchdown, SMH Petsing.
It's got to change.
I mean,
that change if you want to win this football
that
game.
possession after the fumble by Aaron Jones, when you could have stepped on their throats, and you're going backwards, you're throwing screen passes, like, conservatives not going to win it today. I will come on this post-game show and eat crow if the Cardinals win this game like 15-12. But does anybody think that's realistic? You got to take some chances here. This defense, they can't play much better. It's not fair to ask them to pitch a defensive shutout. They're doing everything they can.
Adam C. 199 says Petsing's offense is boring and predictable.
How do you fix that? What do you do? I mean, I think they're going to go back and try to establish the run in the second half.
I mean, you have to, right? You can't get away from what works for you as an offense, right? And you got to take advantage of this offensive line playing a tremendously better than what they did last week. So take advantage of you're moving the ball, just continue to move the football. But once you get into the money zone and the red zone, you've got to start dialing up plays that you can make plays on. The short screen passes, trying to run it up the gut. Like, don't be predictable. I agree with what the guy said. There's a lot of predictable things in Drew Petzing's offensive scheme. If he can, the games that they've won and scored points in, he's been unpredictable.
Now, I know, Craig, like, Drew's not getting these holding penalties, these pre-snap penalties. He didn't drop that James Conner pass, right? And he's not running routes for Marvin Harrison Jr. It almost feels like right now you go to the well of what's working. Kyler Murray's legs appear to be working well.
Yeah, he's been effective there.
And then I feel like Trey McBride, you got to let him take over this second half where he just gets about 5 to 7 targets for this team.
He's had 7 receptions for 49 yards. Very quiet, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you haven't even really noticed that, but that's just what he does on a week-to-week basis. Yeah, I would like to see a diet of Trey McBride. I do agree, though. They need to go back to the run a little bit here. Get James Conner involved a little bit more. Again, he's had 8 carries for 23 yards. That's not a James Conner type of game, and that's where they need to get this offense going.
The New York Jets, my New York Jets, as I was telling producer Damon off air, are doing the job for the Cardinals. They were up at one point 21-7. They're up at half, 21-16 against the visiting Seahawks. And again, we're going to keep an eye on that game. We're going to keep an eye on this defense. Another super chat, Damon Dog.
Yeah, we got it coming in from Justin. Says, I've been pleasantly surprised by Sean Murphy bunting today. I guess he punched out that football on Aaron Jones.
He's played decent defense today too. They had one in the end zone where they tried to throw it in there, and he was there along with the safety in there. But I mean, the coverage has been a lot better for him. He's gotten his hand on a couple balls today too, forcing some fumbles. So he's got to keep it up.
You have gotten Sam Darnold on an off day. You have gotten this Vikings team on an off day where they're not in their groove. Specifically, the Vikings offensively tend to throttle down in second halves. Look what they allowed to Chicago and some of these teams that have crept back in. You're leading right now. You have to take advantage if you're Jonathan Gannon, if you're Drew Petzing, because we know Nick Rallis has his ducks in order. Cardinals at Vikings second half. Cardinals are 2 quarters away from pulling off a win at the bank, U.S. Bank Stadium, 1977, the last time the Cardinals won in Minnesota. We're back regardless for your premier PHNX Cardinals post-game show. Big ups, big thanks to everybody at the watch party here at Gila. Drop a like, subscribe. We'll see you after the game.
We all silly like the mayor.